We have some breaking news here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. Justyn Ross, who's been injured a lot, was carted off the field at Chiefs practice. Now, there's new information. There's lots to dive into, so don't freak out. This may not be as bad as we initially feared, but this is why you subscribe, because when news happens, when injuries occur, we're going to hit you with the video. So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way, anytime something around the Chiefs drops, we are going to have it covered. Now, we kind of have a timeline of how this went down here. Adam Teicher of ESPN tweeted, Justyn Ross is leaving practice in a cart. Couldn't see what the injury was. That's what got us all freaking out. Then Charles Goldman added some stuff here. He said, here come the aggregators making a big deal about Chiefs wide receiver Justyn Ross leaving practice in the front seat of the cart. The dude could have cramps for all we know. He was standing in the training tent and jogged to the cart. So we're not completely sure at this point what it is. Then Pete Sweeney had this from Andy Reid saying, Andy Reid said the injury to Justyn Ross is something in his knee, hamstring, shin. Looked like the medical staff was working on his left leg from my vantage point. So I think just with the information we have, it's an inconclusive resolution at this point in time, right? I don't think it's something to freak out about. I think, and honestly, I'm not calling anyone out, but I think reporters need to do a better job of adding context. Like Adam Teicher, when he throws out there, he was carted off the field. How about hey, he walked or jogged to the cart, like further information we got, then was taken off the field? Because sometimes when you hear carted off, you're thinking he went down non-contact, was down for 10 minutes, then they had to lift him to the cart. Like, that's a serious situation. Doesn't mean this injury isn't real. Doesn't mean it's not a serious situation. It just means that, hey, add the context of he walked off under his own power. They checked him out, then he walked to the cart. Because what teams do now is they'll just put you shotgun in the cart so you don't have to walk to the trainer's room, because sometimes it's like a quarter mile at these training camp facilities. So they'll put you in the cart and you can just ride over there. So I'm not panicking. Obviously, given his injury history, that's a concern. I mean, you look at Justyn Ross's journey here, his freshman and sophomore year at Clemson, he puts up these gaudy numbers, is catching one-handed passes as a freshman in the national championship game. 2020, obviously, had that scary spinal fusion surgery, didn't know if he would play football again. Came back in 2021, had a decent year for Clemson, went undrafted, signed with the Chiefs in 2022. Kansas City, of course, was one of only 4 teams to clear him medically. Had foot surgery in May of last year, so the Chiefs kind of IR stashed him for the year. And then he's had a great training camp, had a touchdown the first preseason game, but now he's been carted off at practice. But again, not the carted off where he was down for 20 minutes and they lifted him up. Like, he left practice today with some level of an injury. We don't know how severe it is. When we do, we will let you guys know. But either way, show Justyn Ross some love. Type the 8s in the comment section down below. Get the 8s going for Justyn Ross, because I'm one of his biggest fans. I know you guys know that, and we're rooting for him because I think he can be a big-time playmaker. Now, what's interesting from a football perspective is this Chiefs wide receiver competition has been just that, very competitive, right? Like, it's a real competition. Like, those first 4 guys there are going to make the team, but Richie James, Justin Watson, Justyn Ross, Nico Remigio in the mix now. Like, there's a lot of guys competing for a roster spot and for playing time, and Justyn Ross, to me, with his level of play, is worthy of being on the 53-man roster. Now, again, we got to see how severe this is, but I do think, assuming this is just a minor injury, which we can't assume, but if it is, he should be on this team. Now, let's also be realistic. We're always going to have some concerns. Like, I believe Justyn Ross should make this team based on what he's shown, but there's always going to be a question of whether or not he can stay healthy. He's got a lot of baggage when it comes to injuries in the last 5 years. So I'm rooting for the kid. If we get more information, we will pass that along. But as we sit now, we don't really have a ton of info other than it's some sort of a leg injury, but it doesn't seem to be some sort of torn ligament or something like that. Get yourself a Real One Chiefs t-shirt right now, chatsports.com/realkc. A link is right there on your screen. That link is in the comments and in the description. Represent this shirt all season long. Chiefs colors. If you're watching this show right now, that makes you a real one here at Chat Sports. So go to chatsports.com/realkc and pick one up today. So we go from one weapon getting injured to another injury update for an offensive player, and That is Jody Fortson, who has not practiced for a couple of weeks with the shoulder injury. Well, his season is unfortunately over. They have put him on injured reserve, which means he's done for the year. And it's just a bummer, man. Like, every year we come in, it's like, oh, man, Fortson, this is the year he finally breaks out, puts it all together, stays healthy. Nope, his season is over. So I think his future is definitely in doubt at this point, and that's unfortunate because I think Jody Fortson had a chance to really be a big-time red zone weapon this year. But luckily for the Chiefs, they do have some depth at tight end. Obviously, Travis Kelce, we know what he brings to the table. Noah Gray's been making plays for a couple of years now. You still have Blake Bell, who can be a good blocker, do some things. I do wonder now, who didn't have a good first preseason game, but I thought the door was open for him to push Blake Bell, who I do think is safe to make the team now. But Matt Bushman, does he make the squad now? I think there's an opportunity for him to be that fourth tight end, and I think the Chiefs will carry 4 tight ends because they don't have a fullback on the roster, but they like utilizing the fullback position. So I think 1 or 2 of these tight ends will take some snaps at fullback. So I think Bushman's got a good chance to make it. We'll see if they consider bringing in another tight end. I think O.J. Howard's still out there. He got cut earlier in the preseason by the Raiders, so you could bring him in. But, yeah, it's definitely a bummer for Fortson, who just can't seem to catch a break at this point in his career. If you hate injuries, spam H in the chat. No one likes injuries, even for your rival team. Like, you don't want to cheer for injuries. So spam H in the chat, and we wish the best of luck to Jody Fortson and, of course, Justyn Ross. Other injury notes today, this was coming in from Pete Sweeney. Obviously, Fortson to IR. He's done now. Chris Jones still holding out. Nothing new there. Nick Jones, fractured finger. So you're a little thin at corner with Najee Johnson done for the year. L'Jarius Sneed still dealing with the knee issue. Obviously, Kadarius Toney, no practice. Turk Wharton didn't practice. He had come back from a torn ACL last year and has been practicing, but did not practice today. Mike Edwards was present, but did not have a helmet, which would indicate he was either going to not practice or only do limited drills. So that's where the things sit on the injury front today. My name is Harrison Graham. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more coverage here on the Kansas City Chiefs, news, rumors, injury updates, and everything else throughout the preseason and on into the 2023 regular season as well. Justyn Ross, Jody Fortson, get better soon. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs.